All right, this is Synaptic, episode 2 of Synaptic, our podcast that explores the people, the science, and the challenges of autism research, and to some extent, the greater neuroscience space. I'm the host of the show, and my name is Brady Huggett. All right, let's get on with this episode. And we're going to start in the northeastern part of Oregon. There's a little town there called Echo. The Columbia River, which is the demarcation between Oregon and Washington State, is about 15 miles due north of Echo. The town has a little historical significance. The Oregon Trail ran just south of it, for instance. But otherwise, there is not a lot to Echo, to be honest. Its official area is just 0.6 square miles, and its population in the 2020 census was only 633 people. But a few generations ago, a man from Finland got off a boat in the United States and made his way west and started a farm in Echo. And that farm was where Connie Kasari grew up. That's our guest for today, Connie Kasari. When she was growing up in Echo, the population was less than 500 people. And she still goes back there to visit at least once a year. We talked about that on this podcast. We also talked about the fact that her mother's father was a farmer. And we talked a little about Oregon and how she values the, as she said, rugged and independent people there. We talked about using the JASPER treatment approach with autistic children. We talked about the problems with ABA. And we even talked about the International Society for Autism Research Conference, colloquially known as INSAR, as Connie is the past president of that society. And of course, we talked about why she chose the career she did. All of that is coming up in this hour. Now, I recorded Connie at her office in the Semel Institute for Neuroscience and Human Behavior on the campus of UCLA. I set up 2 mics over her desk, and afterwards she walked me through parts of her lab, and I got to meet a few of her grad students. But let's pick the talk up here, where Connie and I are looking at some art that hangs on her office wall. This art was created by an autistic young man she has known since kindergarten named Leland. So this is episode 2 of Synaptic with Connie Kasari, starting right now.
So if I scan the art, let's see.
No? Because that looked amazing.
Usually it just...
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, there's Leland.
Maybe that was supposed to come up.
Maybe. Usually
But it has like a 3D element almost
yeah,
too.
it has sound and stuff. So he's talented. But he didn't do well in inclusion because nobody, they have such low expectations.
Yeah.
So it's still the battle I fight today.
All right, well, let's get it. We're rolling, by the way.
We're rolling. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Well, you mentioned what I was going to open with is that you've been on this campus for over 25 years. Now you're telling me over 30 years.
Over 30 years. Yeah. I came in 1985.
Well, I mean, is that because you've found UCLA to be the best place for you, or that you've done with your travels, or what?
Well, I finished my PhD, got married, and then we traveled out here, both for postdocs in this NIH.
Uh-huh.
And I'm from Oregon, so for me coming back west was really great.
Okay, so let's go there. So where were you actually born? I mean, I know you went to Oregon for college, and we'll get there, but were you born in that area?
I was born in eastern Oregon, near Pendleton. So I grew up on a farm, then went off to college, and was...
Like a generational farm? Your family were farmers?
My father was a farmer, yes. Right, in eastern Oregon.
So...
I was first to go to college, and my parents had 4 kids. We all went to college, but they didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So we were first generation.
But was that like a generational farm, or?
No, I mean, let's see. I guess my father's father had also farmed. Yeah, my father's father was from Finland, settled in eastern Oregon, was a farmer. Then my father was a farmer. But he also had a farm business.
Like
fertilizers.
So selling fertilizer.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. After he was a farmer, and then we sold the farm, and he moved to a fertilizer business.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But we still lived on a farm.
But his father came over from Finland and
was a farmer
to the U.S. and started a farm. So somehow he came over, matriculated across the country, and started a farm in Oregon. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then what about your mother's side of the family?
She also, her father, I believe, also was a farmer. Grew up in Idaho and Oregon, that area.
Met your dad and moved?
Met my father in Oregon, I believe. I mean, she was 18 or 19 when she got married. So.
What was she doing in Oregon? How'd she get from Idaho to Oregon at that age?
Actually, I think she was born in Oregon, and then my grandparents later moved to Idaho, so I'm not sure she ever really lived in Idaho.
Oh, I see. So she met him in Oregon.
Yeah, she met him in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, we were Oregonians. There were a lot of Finns, though, that settled in Oregon, especially around the Portland area, Finn Hill, and that area. And
so you're half Finnish?
I'm half Finnish, yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever go to Finland?
I've been there a couple of times, yeah.
Did your father go back and you looked up family, that whole thing?
We did. I took my father back for, the first time probably 32 years ago. And so he did look up relatives.
Oh, so he had never been?
He had never been.
Oh, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Wow. Okay, so you're growing up on this farm. Right? Your family is not, I'm going to say, academically inclined? Or they did not come from professors? Your parents were not? So how many siblings do you have? You have 3?
I have 3 sibs.
Boys, girls?
There were 2 boys and 2 girls. Mm-hmm.
So how did you all end up going to college? Was it like...
It was valued.
Yeah.
So my parents really valued education. My mother always tells a story that she got a scholarship to be a nurse, to go to nursing school, to be a nurse. And her father told her that if she went away to college, that she could never come home again. Because they grew up in the Depression, and she was one of 7 siblings, or 7 kids. And so the idea there was that you didn't go to college, you just worked and you helped the family and those kind of things. So instead, she got married.
Right, so in her father's mind, if you left the family to go to nursing school, then you've sort of broken this tie to the family and don't come back, because you have not helped us in this moment.
Yeah. Why would you be privileged to be able to do that? So both my parents really valued education, even though their parents did not go to college. In fact, my grandfather, who came from Finland, had only gone to 3 days of school.
In his life?
In his life.
In Finland?
Mm-hmm. But he was a very talented musician. And
what did he play?
He played the violin, and he called it the fiddle, and the accordion.
So you're telling me he had 3 days of school in Finland someplace. Did he come by himself to the
U.S.?
Yes. Totally by himself? As like a young man in his 20s or something like that?
Yep.
Came all the way west, started a farm. That gets handed down to your father. Your father meets your mother. Your mother squelches her dreams of being a nurse, marries your father, and starts a family.
Yeah, had 4 kids in 5.5 years.
Oh my God. Young? Like the first one at 18?
Probably 19, yeah.
Wow, and they're still together?
Well, my father's died.
Yeah.
Yes, but they were, still together. Well, he died at 95, and she's 92, and very healthy.
Have you had your genome sequenced?
He did that,
23andMe.
Whatever it's called, one of those. I don't know which one. Yeah, one of them he did. And because we always thought that maybe he was really Estonian, because in Estonia you see my last name, Kasari, lakes and towns and various places, so it's more Eastern European. Turned out he was 99% Finnish.
What was the 1%?
I don't know.
They couldn't.
Right.
Something else.
Yeah, something else.
Okay, so I want to know about, like, you're growing up and your parents are saying, look, you need to go to college. It's an opportunity that we need to take advantage of. There's a good public school, in fact, a state school right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, it was 4 hours away, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that we just never thought we wouldn't go to college. We always grew up, all of us, knowing that we would go to college. And I just followed my, brother and sister to Oregon State. I didn't even think about it. I didn't have a choice. I just followed them there. My brother was just a year and a half older than me, a year ahead of me in school. And he was a veterinarian, and so kind of related to farming.
Right.
And my sister ended up becoming a teacher, but my younger brother did agriculture, economics. So farming, and my sister lives on a farm.
Oh, she does?
So,
like
in
a working
Texas. Farm? Well, they are both teachers, but yes, they have cattle and,
Yeah, it's not their main source of livelihood, but it's a working farm. Yeah.
I mean, I think all of my family is kind of oriented towards farming.
Do you have those sorts of memories of the farm and things that you do you wish that you lived on a farm, that kind of thing, versus the middle of Los Angeles?
I certainly never wished that. Growing up, I always wanted to go away and not live there because it was very small.
Yeah.
Very small school, not a lot of opportunities there. And so for me, it was always I would, go away. But it's very peaceful to be on farms. So I enjoy those kind of vacations. And I guess I wouldn't rule that out at some point. But I don't think about it in the same way.
Do you miss the Pacific Northwest?
Oh, yeah. I think the Pacific Northwest is great. But I think California is great, too.
Well, for obvious reasons, right? I mean, it's sunny and 75 every day.
Yeah,
it feels like it to me.
That's right.
Yeah, because the Pacific Northwest has a really unique, it's almost like a temperate rainforest in that way.
Yeah, but the people are kind of rugged and independent and all of those things I value.
Yeah, good. Okay. So anyway, you're going to school, and how did you think, what did you think you were going to do in college?
Well, I thought I would do special education, which is what I ended up eventually doing.
How come?
I think as a kid growing up in these small rural schools, if there was ever a kid with a disability, they just went to school with you. And so I remember I remember in 6th grade taking this young boy with emotional problems sort of under my wing and just being kind of interested in him. And then in high school, small school, didn't have much to do. I would go and help the teachers in the younger grades with kids. And I was always attracted to the kids who had learning problems or had a difficult time. So I was motivated by that. So when I got to Oregon State, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just went into psychology and education and was really motivated still by learning differences. So then I went from Oregon State to Peabody College and
Vanderbilt.
In Nashville, right? My older brother, drove across the country with me and dropped me off. Yep.
How'd that feel? That's a big change.
It was a big change. Yep. It was a big change. It was interesting. I liked it. I was always up for adventure, so that was fine. Did my master's and got really interested again in disability, and then moved to Richmond. It just kept going east to Richmond, Virginia. I actually taught at Fredericksburg, Virginia for a couple of years.
I did not know that. Okay. So when you went to get the master's, you thought, even when you left Oregon, you were thinking, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a special ed teacher.
That's right.
And so the master's degree was really just sort of, you could have done that without the master's degree, I'm assuming.
No, because there wasn't special ed at Oregon State. So I had to get a master's in sort of learning differences.
Okay.
And at Peabody, I really learned a lot about assessment and kids with disabilities. And you could kind of do one or two tracks. You could kind of go down a research track, or you could just do a clinical. And I sort of, I think I did the research track, actually. Although it felt pretty clinical as well. And then I just went into teaching for 4 years, 2 in Fredericksburg. Mm-hmm. So it was the period of time in which I went to college was where it was like the late 70s, early 80s. And so kids with disabilities were just coming into public schools, believe it or not.
Oh, you mean like out of the institution almost?
Well,
the first time they were sort of brought in.
Or home.
Yeah.
They were at home, right?
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to go to school. So we were doing a lot of child find at that time of kids with severe and profound disabilities and trying to bring them into school. So that was one of my first experiences, was actually in Tennessee in the summer, bringing in these kids from the rural parts of Tennessee into schools. I mean, these were kids that were in bed all day. They were severe and profound. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah, how did you, that's the thing, like today we would have a better idea on how to handle that, but back then it must have been, you're breaking new ground on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that sounds incredibly hard.
Yeah, these kids were coming to school. And some of them we really needed to be in home with them because they were older and they weren't that medically stable.
Yeah.
And so then when I went to Richmond, after that summer, I got a job lived in Richmond, but I had a job in Fredericksburg, and they were all what they called back then severe and profound. So I had 17 kids in a classroom with another teacher and 2 aides, and the kids were mostly not mobile.
Yeah.
But they ranged from about 3 to 21. in the same class, which was crazy.
Right. How can you set
crazy.
your curriculum with that range?
Well, we did. Had a lot of rare syndromes, did a lot of reading on what to do, and we did a very developmental approach with them because there weren't like pre-made curriculums.
Yeah,
we
no,
were
that's
just,
what I mean.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're just sort of doing it
Yep.
daily you're figuring it out day by day almost.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But we did a lot of interesting things. So I worked 2 years there, and then I took a position at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University,
Yeah.
and we were working with babies because that was also a new area. So birth to 2. And these little babies that were very low resourced, put them on a bus 2 days a week. They would go to a public school, and then 2 days a week in-home sessions.
Basic language skills.
Yeah, basic
yeah.
developmental skills.
Yeah.
Attending, most of them, well, we worked a lot on motor skills because they weren't ambulatory.
Right.
So.
But so at this point, you've got a wide range. You've gone from, older all the way down to 0 and 2. You've seen children all the way from 0 up to about 25. I don't know, something like that.
Right, but their developmental skills were not that broad.
Uh-huh.
So they were all pretty severe and profound. So we're talking about what are those developmental skills of kids between birth and age 5. So that's what we focused on, and I focused a lot on sort of movement and positioning because the kids were really severe and profound.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a new area. So it was kind of exciting. I learned a lot, but I only worked 4 years, and then I went to do a PhD because, yeah.
Listen, when teachers talk, when they talk about teaching, it's exhausting. And it's hard to keep kids in line, and they come home at the end of the day and they're exhausted. I'm assuming that's probably the same with the work you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty interested in the work, but it wasn't like a long-term commitment for me because it doesn't go teaching. It's hard with teaching. You don't have the advancements that you
don't
really
see
need.
like the kind of growth you're saying.
Yeah, like what was I going to do? We were in the basement often of public schools. I was in regular public schools, and we were always working and trying to make, sort of gains in awareness and inclusion and acceptance. But yeah, you can only fight that battle for so long on such a small level. So you want to go and do it on a larger level.
So that's why you did the PhD, right? So you're sort of under-resourced, stuck in the basement often. And you're not making any real progress here. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, special ed was always in the basement. Special ed was always kind of marginalized.
Yeah.
It continues to be marginalized.
Yeah.
That hasn't shifted that much in 30-some years.
Yeah.
I mean, our terminology has shifted and changed, but our need for interventions is still as strong as it's ever been. So now we argue for kids to be in inclusion and to have their needs met. So it's not okay to just put somebody in a classroom and say, well, you can come and you can sit. That's not educating them. And so we do want to educate them within the context of whichever classroom they're in.
Yeah. So are you saying sort of like the old version of inclusion was, yes, you can come into the room and sit with us, but there was no specific instruction.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and
the
that
change
still
zone.
happens today.
It still does.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they're lucky enough to get into the inclusive classroom.
Yeah.
People are still putting up barriers, roadblocks to having kids in their classrooms.
I'm assuming this is coming from the parents.
No. Well, sometimes it comes from parents, but it comes from teachers too.
Uh-huh.
So the teachers union will restrict the number of kids on an IEP that can be in a classroom.
Because they feel it's going to be disruptive or something.
Disruptive, too much work, and so on and so forth. So, we need to have new models for this to actually happen successfully. And there are models out there. We know what to do, and we know how to do it, but we don't do it.
Why?
It's a good question. I think it starts at the top. I think that our schools of education, our training of teachers has to be better, more responsive, more responsible. But we still are not there.
Yep.
So I, for 30-some years have been trying to work on this.
All right. So you go to Chapel Hill for your PhD. And what was your dissertation? I don't know, actually.
Oh, my dissertation was on infants, 6 and 10-month-old infants with disabilities. They were pretty severe disabilities, and looking at parent-child interactions and the kinds of cues that parents would pick up on to determine if their kids were communicating with them.
And
So I'm still doing the same work in a sense.
But that was sort of quantifying? You would observe and say, these are the things that parents are picking up on.
Yeah, readability of those infant signals.
And that could then be compiled into, well, here's what we think symptoms of autism are.
Well, it wasn't autism back then. These were just disabled babies with
Learning disabilities or
Down syndrome or other. It was a mixed group of kids and typical kids.
Both, Okay, so you almost had like a control group there. Right. All right, so you finish, that was in 1985, I think you graduated from?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay, yeah. When did you meet your husband, if you both came west together?
When I was in my PhD.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. You both finished around the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And then, did you both come to UCLA?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By chance or by planning?
By planning.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, I think you came on an NIH grant, right? Or fellowship?
Yeah, we were both on the same NIH grant, T32, right. I worked with Marion Sigmund.
So tell me, you came, this is 85, you came out here, you obviously you just were on the fellowship. I don't know. I think so 5 years you were on the fellowship?
3 years, and then 3 years on the fellowship, and then 2 years as a staff psychologist here in Simmel. And then this job opened in the School of Ed, and so I applied, and, that's where I've been ever since.
The rest is history.
Yeah, right. As they say.
Okay, so tell me about moving out here and what that was like. So, I mean, as you said, West Coast was nice for you. I mean, it's not Oregon, but you didn't think, obviously, that you were going to be here the next 30 years. I don't imagine you would have thought that.
No, I wasn't sure I wanted to do academics, period. That was a shift. I mean, I think that the postdoc with Marion was really good for that, in that the kind of work we were doing, the fact that I started to work on autism. I wasn't working on autism until I did my postdoc.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really fascinating area to study in. And then UCLA has all of these interesting studies going on, interesting people. And so I really got hooked. And then I was always interested in education. So this job in education was a perfect kind of transition for me. And also Marion was telling me I needed to do something on interventions, which I also hadn't done. We were just doing descriptive studies.
Why was she saying that?
Because we knew so much about the kids and the kinds of skills that were missing in their development. And so why not try to intervene on those?
So she was saying, you've gathered this information, let's try to apply it in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she really encouraged me to do the intervention studies.
When you came across autism, I mean, and I understand that the definition was a lot different than it is today, but what was fascinating about it?
Oh, just that, I mean, I used to say that working with Down syndrome kids, you would work with them and you would be, if you're sitting at a table, you're like everything to that child. You're like the only thing in the room. And yet when you sit down with a child with autism, you weren't even in the room. So the feel of just the interaction was so different and fascinating. So, trying to figure that out and trying to help kids have a happy life, a productive life. And so to have a productive, happy life, you need to be able to talk or communicate in some way. So I really focused in on that social communication piece, because that is regardless of whether you have intellectual disability or not, you still need to be able to communicate in some way.
So that was the fascinating part. So, but also, I think it sounds like you're saying it was a change. You were used to this kind of person in front of you, and suddenly you had almost an opposite one. And you thought, well, this is a different thing. Yeah. Okay, so let's try to figure this out.
And both of them need to learn to communicate. But with the kids with Down syndrome or other kinds of developmental disabilities, progress is just slower, but it feels like you're connected and making those changes together. Whereas with kids with autism, it just felt substantially different.
Yeah.
And yet, at the same time, what I learned by, working with Marion and doing this work for a number of years is just the heterogeneity. So it's all over the map. And so that also is really interesting, how you could be a savant brilliant, or like Leland, who does this art in my office. He's obviously an amazing artist and brilliant in his own way, but he's minimally verbal. To me, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And then I have people that work in my lab that are highly verbal and also very talented, but a very different kind of person.
Yeah, so that was part of the fascination.
Yeah.
But what was the concept of autism at the time? Can you remember? Sort of like what a classic definition would have been?
Well, with working with little kids, that most of them didn't talk. 75% of them were not talking when they entered school at age 5. That has drastically shifted. Now it's about 30%. So we've done something well. Early interventions have made a huge difference. So that would have been classic. Just the fact that they might not have wanted to interact with you. The relationships were sort of more fragmented. To me, those were the things. I didn't see the behavior issues as much. I mean, some people talk about a lot of behavioral challenges, and there can be, but I don't think of that as core.
Right. Well, tell me where I'm wrong, but sometimes that is tied to the inability to communicate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you set your lab up in 1997. Your first time, is that right?
Possibly. Yeah. That's when I started having grants here through SEML. I had moved from SEML as a postdoc to School of Education. So for those first few years, I was mostly doing work on Down syndrome. So I was kind of creating my own independent line of research away from Marion. And then Marion got the CPEA, which is the Consortium of Programs of Excellence in Autism, those first set of grants, in 1997. And I had a project in that. That was my first intervention study.
I see. Okay.
So that's when we probably set up a lab here, in that we were seeing kids that were in their early intervention program here.
So when you set your lab up, how did you do it? How did you find the postdocs to work with you? How did you build a reputation so that people wanted to come here and learn? I mean, how did you do that whole thing?
Well, I remember I was in the School of Ed. I already had about 30 PhD students.
Yeah.
When I was as an assistant professor, all the other professors retired or moved in my division. I was the only one left, and there were like 35 PhD students.
So you inherited them, is what you're telling me.
I inherited them all, so I didn't have any problem attracting students. I was just trying to weed through them to, help them finish up.
Yeah.
So I had graduate students already, and then I had a lab here, and we started to see kids off of the early intervention program that's upstairs, one floor up. And so I did this randomized control trial where we just randomized the kids who came into that program to different intervention components and tested those.
Okay, so this, I was looking at your papers, and I think this, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think your first paper is still maybe your most cited. Oh, that might be a function of time, right?
I have no idea.
A longitudinal study of joint attention and...
Play.
Oh, no, language development in autistic children, is that right?
Could be.
Yeah. So can you tell me about that paper? Like, what were you trying to get at when you started looking, and then what did you find?
Was this the intervention paper?
I think so.
So I don't know which ones were cited, and I don't pay attention.
This was, I think...
In 2006, I had a paper that was an intervention study.
That might be the one, yeah.
So we already knew from the work I'd done with Marion Sigmund and Peter Mundy here as part of my postdoc, and then a little bit later, that kids with autism that are 3 and 4 and 5 years of age have difficulty with joint attention.
Yeah.
And so at that time, that there was a lot of interest in what were considered the core deficits in young kids with autism. So joint attention was one of those. And then play skills, at least symbolic play, was also an area of difficulty. But it didn't seem to be related to their language impairment as much as joint attention was. So I just did a little experimental study of intervention where we randomized kids coming into a early intervention program here, which was based on ABA, mostly discrete trial, 30 hours a week. Kids stayed for about 6 weeks because that's what insurance would pay for. And we just randomized kids into either a joint attention intervention, a play intervention, or they just kept doing the ABA. And the question was whether or not we could improve joint attention and whether that would predict to language.
Yeah.
And it did.
It did?
It did, yeah. 3 and 4-year-olds, it did.
Why is that, though?
Well, at that time, think about this. This was 30 years ago. The ABA programs weren't focused on gesture use. They weren't focused on really play skills. So none of those skills were taught in the ABA program. But theoretically, in development for all kids learn to gesture and to communicate in that way before they learn to speak. So we just focused in on that early developmental set of skills.
But maybe this is known and I just don't know it, but is the idea that without the gesturing, when I'm talking to you, without me able to say glasses and pointing, that you don't get the language? It's the gesturing that helps meld that in a child's mind.
The gesturing and the communication with, the word, but also the communication with the other person. Being engaged. And that's actually what we found was so important from that first study, was that the parents would drop their kids off at 8 a.m. and they'd come back at 2 and pick them up. So they weren't part of our intervention. I had graduate students doing the intervention. But we had the parents play with their kids before we started, and then at the end of the 6 weeks, and then, in the follow-up.
Yeah.
And so parents didn't know if they were getting the joint attention or the play. They didn't know that much about it. And yet they're responsive to their kids. So they responded in ways to their kids, and their kids were developing these skills. And what was interesting was that both in my experimental groups, play or joint attention, parents were engaged with their kids longer than the kids that just continued ABA. So that ability to engage, that interest, that ability to communicate with another person increases if you can stay engaged.
So that's why there's a jump in language, you think?
Well, we've now shown that is a good mechanism of this particular intervention approach. So that, in fact, if you get JASPER and we're trying to improve your initiating of joint attention, because we know that predicts to language, that the mechanism is joint engagement. The longer you stay engaged.
So I actually want to ask about JASPER too. Right, so just can you take me through what, because it sounds like, I was reading the description, it sounds a lot like ABA in a way.
Right. So when you read on paper, all interventions kind of sound alike, right?
Yeah.
You're working with little kids, you're trying to increase skills, or you're trying to decrease negative behaviors, challenging behaviors. So on paper, they probably do sound alike. But I think JASPER is uniquely different in some very particular ways. So we are very developmental in that we assess kids and we think about that kid who's right sitting in front of you and what it is that what gaps in development we need to fill in. And because all little kids are learning to do joint attention and requesting skills and communicate with their social partner, they're learning to play. So those are the skills we're focused on. But we take a very developmental approach to that. At the same time, we're going to use behavioral strategies too. So if a child has a challenging behavior, we're going to address those in the same way that somebody doing DTT would, right? They're going to look at the function of the behavior. They're going to try to figure out what they're going to need to do before the behavior happens, to prevent the behavior from happening. So in that sense, we're similar. But whereas discrete trial, and I think when people say ABA in the negative connotations, that's what they're talking about. Whereas discrete trial is doing these kind of discrete skills, we're trying to connect them all together. So
it's sort of more holistically, I suppose we would say.
Yes, more holistically, more like real world.
Yeah. How
kids really play.
Yeah.
So that's what we think about.
I mean, do you think it's any more effective?
It is more effective.
So why don't we try things like JASPER all over the world instead of ABA?
Well, both can be effective. So with those first studies, adding in joint attention and play was in contrast to just discrete trials.
Yeah.
And so teaching those skills matters. So could you teach those same skills using DTT? For some kids, absolutely. For other kids, no. So I think we have to get to the point where we think about this individual child, sort of that moderation. which kids are going to benefit from which intervention best. And we need to stop thinking about kind of horse races. This intervention's better than this one. Because at a particular age, a developmental age or situation, DTT could be better than JASPER. And we've actually have some data on this. So again, I think we want to think about the method, the approach within an individual child.
But so the hard part, I think, is that so ABA is now, I mean, it's still not readily available in parts of the country. They're slowly growing it, et cetera. But that is not all that individualized. I mean, it's meant to be, but right now it's sort of like you get a diagnosis, you go off to ABA, and that kid is sort of at the mercy of whatever that business is doing that day. Like, I don't think they're getting quite the individual attention that you're describing, and I don't know how that happens at scale.
So you've just put your thumb on the problem. It's not ABA that's necessarily the problem, it's the implementation. And it's true, we need a workforce that has many tools in their toolbox and are more sophisticated. But when you have a whole industry that's only teaching one approach, that's all you're going to get. So then it doesn't feel like it's that individualized.
Yeah.
So that it's more in the implementation than it is the problem of the interventions. I started off doing, building JASPER, but we started with discrete trials at the table and then generalized to the floor in that first study. I dropped out the discrete trial as a separate thing for a number of different reasons. One is the next study I did was with parents, and I didn't want parents doing discrete trials. It didn't feel normal, natural.
Right.
But there are times when kids need a little bit of repetition to learn a skill, and I don't think there's a problem with that. But when you use it, sort of the timing of that is what turns out to be important.
When you use the repetition, you mean?
Yes.
And you say timing, you mean like in their development, their age?
It could be in their development, but also in the context of intervention. So, I see a lot of kids who are minimally verbal, who already are having very slowed progress. They're 4 and 5 and 6 and still not speaking with words, or not very many.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they need a little bit more direct instruction. So I think of those repetitions as direct instruction, letting them know what the expectation is and what we want. But then it's important that you connect it within context, which is what JASPER does. How do you play?
Right.
It's not a discrete skill. It's a connected set of behaviors.
So all the problems that ABA has as far as scaling and getting individual treatment, that would be twofold if you were to try to implement JASPER, because it's a bigger So how do we make something that is proved to be useful to children? How do you actually implement it at a large scale?
Yeah, I know everyone wants everything at a large scale, and of course that would be something we need to think about. But at the same time, do you want something so autism is a very complicated condition.
Yeah, here, let me back up, because I shouldn't have said it's large scale, but make it accessible for people who need it.
Yeah, I think we do want to have a lot of different interventions that are accessible to a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
At the same time, you just don't want somebody to come in off the street and be able to do this. You want a really skilled workforce.
Right. That's also part of the problem with ABA.
It is a problem. It's a problem across all of our interventions. Yeah. So I don't want somebody doing surgery on me that learned in a weekend. Yeah. And so so again, I think we start at the top. How are we teaching people to be, in any profession? We have to be, more skillful in the ways in which we teach them to go out and to do their work. And we need people to be open-minded and to ask questions and to collaborate. So that's kind of the first thing. We shouldn't have a lot of rigid people going out and teaching children who are also very rigid. Right.
I want to ask this because when we think about your career, how long you've been doing this and how long you've been in this lab and all the things that you've seen, like the field has changed incredibly. The description of autism has changed incredibly.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how you feel about, like, when you look at the research that was done 20 years ago, are there things that you wouldn't do today, or that you because the field has changed and you understand autism better than you did in 1997, for instance?
Well, there's certainly words I wouldn't print anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I have titles of papers that have mentally retarded in the titles. I wouldn't use those anymore. I don't feel that I've done anything particularly abusive or negative in my work, because I've always been sensitive to that. I've always had a developmental lens on the questions that I ask. And I think that the early work that we did, so even as a postdoc, the sort of issue of individuals with autism not wanting to, interact with other people or wanting to be alone, we knew that not to be true, and we published studies where we said this isn't true. It's not that they don't want to, it's that maybe it's the understanding of the context. And so to help people is to help them to understand different contexts and nuances. So I feel like we've learned from that. I do feel like we repeat the same studies over and over because the people that are coming into the field now don't read the studies from 30 years ago.
Really? Oh, because they think they're outdated.
Yes, they only go back about 10 years.
I see.
And so it feels like we're just repeating some of the same studies that we had already done before. So
that's not progressing the field. Yeah.
No, it slows our progress in some ways. I still think there's a lot of things that we need to do in the future. And actually, I don't just do JASPER, and thank goodness I don't.
Yeah.
I do multiple kinds of interventions because as kids grow, you learn new things and you want to try, or you want to address new problems. So that has been really interesting to me. And the fact that I go into schools or, I'm looking at kids in different contexts.
I see. Okay. And we talked about this before, but I also want to ask, because it's on the same theme of, one of the things about autism that I find fascinating is that it has changed so quickly in 30 years. Both that's the neurodiversity movement, it's the concept of what it is. So I think that's fascinating, and you have seen that, up close and personal. So I want to ask about INSAR too, because that has been like a magnifying glass almost for some of the issues. You want these kinds of presentations, you also want these kinds of presentations. You want these kinds of people to attend INSAR, you also want these kinds of people to attend INSAR. So as the current president, how are you managing to do that?
Well, first and foremost, we think of INSAR as the science of autism. So it's research.
Yeah.
It's not just clinical practice or service. So it is always about science. There's a lot of different kinds of science. And we have progressed in all areas of society by bringing in all different kinds of scientists. And I think that we want INSAR to reflect that broad view of science. And it's not for one group of people from, any area to say that we don't accept this kind of science.
Yeah.
We don't accept sham science or harmful science. Now, people have different opinions about what is harmful. But again, there's a broad view of science here, and we do want to be scientific because there are other organizations that address, more ethical issues or social issues or service issues, parent organizations or autistic individual organizations, and they all have an important role. But our focus is really on science.
So, but the science has broadened over the years.
Certainly, because as scientists have broadened and have understood different aspects of autism, but also different methodologies. And so, yes, you can bring all of those together. I mean, there's never enough in any one area for any one group. They're always complaining. Like, I heard a lot of people wanting more on education and on schools, and we don't have as much in INSAR as we would like.
So I think that's my question. So then when you hear that, are you thinking, well, okay, let's try to get more in education then?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're always wanting people to come together. But unless people are around the table, you don't hear their voice. And educators, school folks, are often not around the table for any kind of autism research. I've been saying this for 30 years. Where are the educators? And the fault lies on both the sort of medical science part and the school part.
Where are the educators?
Well, they're doing their own thing.
They're going to education seminars.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing, but we need to bring them together. So when you have NIH coming together with workshops, we need to have educators around the table.
Yeah, I had not considered that.
Yeah,
That's
they
a good
have an
idea.
important voice in all of this.
So, but you're saying also that's not particularly INSAR's focus. But you're saying they should come and listen.
Well, no, they could bring in educational research.
Oh, yeah, that's
Any
true.
kind of science is welcome.
Yeah.
Preclinical animal research is welcome, as well as sociological kind of research. So, to me, those are, different ends of a spectrum.
Yeah. I had this feeling that, the criticism would come, but I don't think that they were aware, as I wasn't really till I asked you, how much thought goes into planning it out.
Yeah, a lot of thought goes into planning it out, but also in sort of balancing and magnifying certain voices. So last year was my first year, and of course we were in Texas.
Yeah.
And Texas came out with some very unpopular, policy positions that upset a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. And so, but we had planned to go to Austin for like 5 years. So these are things that one doesn't just
Walk
shift.
away from.
Yeah, you can't just shift. So instead, we gathered and we did have these civil discourse conversations where we brought people together with the idea that you bring people around the table to discuss these really kind of difficult
Contentious
conversations.
issues. Yeah.
And they were great. So
They were great.
Yeah, we had 2. Were you there?
No, I was in Austin, but I wasn't at.
Oh, you didn't come?
I was at the meeting, but I wasn't at, I think, what the specific moment you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, civil. We had 2 on Thursday.
Yeah.
One was on LGBTQ youth.
These are the SIGs we're talking about?
No. The SIGs are also going on, but these were separate. They were civil discourse conversations. So we had one on LGBTQ plus youth and one on ethnic racial diversity.
Yeah.
2 important areas for us as researchers, but also were contentious in the state. Next year we'll be in Sweden, and we're going to have civil discourse conversations, and we're looking to the membership to raise some issues. They've already raised a couple of issues, and one of those is bringing together, I don't know if this is one we'll do, but it is bringing together parents of profound autism children or adults and the neurodiversity community so that they have a conversation together, because there seems to be tension there. And it's
you're right.
unclear why we should have that kind of tension.
Yes, somebody told me that there's actually an area between those 2 groups that they are focused on, and they both would like to see more research at places like INSAR focused on present day, not like genetics, but like how can my child get through the day.
Right.
So those 2 groups are actually focused on that. They just don't necessarily sometimes know it, I think.
They're both focused on the same sort of outcome, but one takes a longer time to get to the immediate issue.
Yeah.
And I think we have all of that happening at INSAR. There are certainly researchers that are focused on families and present day and challenge. We have a SIG on challenging behaviors. Yes, getting through the day and not having my child hospitalized is really important.
Yeah.
And the idea that some people are minimally verbal or non-speaking, and how do we amplify their voice? And so the people that can amplify their voice the best are the family members around them. But the family members don't think that the neurodiversity community speaks for them, and the neurodiversity movement doesn't see the parents speaking for them. And so really we have to get together and talk about those common areas of where we do speak the same language.
Yeah, I would like to go to that. Maybe I'll make that a priority, because I think, honestly, I also think that if you get people in the room, it's going to be better than what you see online. Online amplifies all the tensions that we have.
Well, online too, you can hide or mask behind that sort of
avatar.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I actually don't read it.
Good.
Listen to it. Yeah.
You're probably healthier for it.
Well, yeah, I don't want to hear about all the things that I'm not doing or am doing. So
I'm about done. I want to ask you one thing. So how big was your school, like your high school?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, 100 people maybe?
Total. Okay, so 25, 30 a class. Yeah. But what is it about, do you think, that when you came across children who were in special ed that pulled you in, that fascinated you? Was it this concept that they're being left behind and nobody's doing anything about it?
Yeah.
Or that was it?
Oh, yeah. Equity, just social justice. And I still feel that way. I mean, why do we have children on core curriculum, so meaning the same curriculum as a third grader in gen ed, but they're in a separate classroom? Does that make any sense? And that still goes on today. I don't understand why kids on core curriculum are in separate classrooms. I don't understand always why kids on alternate curriculum are in separate classrooms. There are certainly places where kids can come together in the morning for morning meeting, and maybe if you're on an alternate curriculum, you have to go out and have separate,
a class instruction or something, yeah.
Right. But there are many times during the day where you should know the other kids in your class, and the other kids in your class should know that you exist.
Yeah. But why? I'm curious as to, I don't know that everybody would feel that way, though. But for some reason, you did feel that way.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea why that is? I mean, was it part of your family, or is there something in Connie that...
Probably. I mean, we had all kinds of hired hands that had disabilities, and I mean, I can remember very salient, contact with people. I didn't have people in my family with disabilities, although my father had, I think, 5 siblings, and one died when she was 12 of a heart disorder. And much later, I saw pictures of this little girl. She had Down syndrome.
Oh,
I see. So I did have...
And, that's not even part of the family history.
No, well, they never mentioned that she had Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But clearly she had Down syndrome. But I didn't grow up with siblings or with family members who had disabilities. But I think my family always, cared for other people and were inclusive. And, I lived in a farming community, so everyone was pretty inclusive.
And something about that something about that bothered you. You thought, these people are not given the same attention as everybody else. They're not getting the same resources as the other kids. And there's no reason. They just happen to be born differently. Right.
Although I think they were in my class, so they were given. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I just...
Yeah, so they weren't off in the basement, as you were saying.
They weren't off in the basement, yeah. But, trying to reach them to figure out how they could learn is still fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go. That is Connie Kasari. A very nice woman, no? Obviously a big contributor to this field. Thanks to Connie for having me into her space to record. And I think that if you ever get a chance to sit down and speak with Connie Kasari, you should do it. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, this podcast will be archived at spectrumnews.org. The next episode will be out July 1st. You can subscribe to Synaptic wherever you find your podcasts. And if you like this, and if you are so inclined, you can rate and review it. That does help other people find the program. If you haven't, you can go back and listen to the inaugural episode of Synaptic, which featured Kathy Lord. That is found in our archives. A reminder that you can find us on Twitter, where our handle is @Spectrum. You can use that to tell us what you thought of this podcast, or actually anything else that we do here at Spectrum. Our theme song was written and performed by Chris Collinwood. And that's it. I will talk to you on the next one, and I'll let the music play us out.
I became a professor in 1990, but I was here in 1985
For your
my
NIH fellowship.
postdoc. Yeah. So
Okay.
you did a little research, huh?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
not going to come in here and be blind. That would be a terrible interview.